Have you ever wondered why, despite being constantly busy, we often feel a profound emptiness that nothing seems to fill? What could be missing when it appears we're doing everything we're supposed to? We live in a world that highly values action. We are always in motion, chasing goals, pursuing targets, and accumulating achievements. Yet deep within, something essential seems just out of reach. There is a part of ourselves that we often overlook, a part that isn't tied to action, but to simply existing. This duality between our human nature, bound by time, goals, and challenges, and our deeper being, which transcends time and material reality, lies at the heart of our existence. The challenge is that many of us don't realize these two aspects need to coexist in balance. We are not solely defined by what we do. We are also defined by who we are at our core. As we rush through life, we increasingly distance ourselves from this essential part of us. The more we immerse ourselves in doing, the further we drift from simply being. And the more distant we become from our essence, the deeper our sense of emptiness grows. This leads to a fundamental question. Can we find balance between doing and being? How can we meet the demands of our human nature without losing touch with our true essence? Today, let's delve deeper into this duality. We will look beyond the surface to uncover the mysteries of doing and being. After all, while a life focused on doing may keep us busy, does it truly make us feel alive? More importantly, how can we harmonize these dimensions to live fully, consciously, and in alignment with our true selves? Perhaps the answers are closer than you think, waiting for you to be ready to see them. Our human side thrives on constant action. From the moment we wake up, we are guided by goals, desires, and expectations. We have ambitions to achieve, responsibilities to meet, and dreams to realize. This is the essence of doing, where our attention is on what has yet to be accomplished, on what lies ahead. Doing defines us as beings bound by time, influenced by the past, and driven by the future. This conditioning seeps into every aspect of life. From early on, we learn that success is measured by the number of achievements, the milestones we reach, and the challenges we overcome. Society teaches us that we must always be striving for something, whether it's personal growth, financial security, or social standing. Yet in this relentless pursuit, we often become captives of our own desires. Every accomplishment leads to a new target, creating an endless cycle. In this dynamic, the ego plays a central role. It is the core of our identity in the realm of doing. The ego drives us to act, to compete, to seek more. Curiously, it is also responsible for many of our struggles. It strengthens itself by creating challenges, obstacles, and conflicts because these situations give it a sense of purpose. The ego thrives in chaos, feeding on frustrations and dissatisfaction, always craving something more to fill the void that, paradoxically, it helps to create. Living in the realm of doing means constantly dwelling on thoughts about the past and the future. Our memories shape us, and our expectations propel us forward. But in doing this, we often lose touch with the present, the only moment where life truly unfolds. While doing is necessary, when it becomes unbalanced, it can lead us away from ourselves, trapping us in an unending and unfulfilling quest. So as we stay immersed in doing, we wonder, is there another way to live? How can we find a middle ground between the drive to act and the peacefulness of being? The solution is not to abandon doing, but to discover a new way to coexist with it, allowing space for something deeper to emerge. Unlike doing, being isn't tied to actions, goals, or accomplishments. It is silent, profound, and constant. Being is the pure essence of who we are, beyond time, beyond circumstances, beyond the noise of life. It is pure awareness. Being emerges in those rare moments of calm, when the mind quiets and we find ourselves simply existing. There is nothing to achieve, nothing to prove, nothing to pursue, only a state of pure presence. Yet, in our fast-paced lives, being is often overshadowed by the incessant noise of doing. Our minds, conditioned to focus on tasks and problems, rarely allow us access to this inner stillness. The paradox is that, despite being frequently overlooked, being is always there, waiting for us to return amidst the chaos of everyday life. It allows us to pause, breathe, and experience a peace that isn't dependent on external circumstances. Being is unconcerned with past or future. It is anchored in the present, the only reality that truly exists. Awakening to the state of being is not an instant process. It is a journey back to our core, where we rediscover that we are more than just a collection of actions and thoughts. When we access this deeper dimension, we feel a clarity that goes beyond logical reasoning. It doesn't seek answers because it understands that all answers lie within the simple act of existing. As we tap into this state, something extraordinary happens. Life, which once seemed like an endless series of disjointed events, takes on new meaning. Presence brings peace, and this peace lets us view the world with fresh eyes, seeing the unique value in each moment. But the question remains, how do we cultivate this state amidst the demands of doing? First, it's important to realize that it's not about choosing between doing and being, but finding a way to integrate them. It's not about ceasing action, but about acting with mindfulness. Doing and being are not opposing forces. They complement each other, and within this union lies true balance. Modern life teaches us that we must always be on the move, producing, achieving, advancing. Yet this one-sided approach can separate us from our core, leading us into a cycle of dissatisfaction. Recognizing that being is as essential as doing allows us to live with greater awareness. It doesn't mean giving up our goals and dreams, but understanding that being can coexist with doing, enriching the quality of our actions. This balance begins when we realize that doing can become more mindful, more rooted in the present. Instead of rushing from one task to the next, we can center being within our actions, turning each moment into an opportunity to connect with the now. Practices like meditation and mindfulness are valuable tools in this process. They teach us to slow down, to observe the mind's patterns, and to cultivate presence even amidst activity. For example, when we meditate, we experience moments of internal stillness where doing fades and being comes into focus. Regular meditation helps create a space within where doing and being can blend seamlessly. It shows us that it's possible to live actively while maintaining a connection to our inner calm. Mindfulness, on the other hand, encourages us to be fully present in every moment, even in mundane activities. Whether walking, working, or engaging with others, mindfulness invites us to observe, feel, and act with intention. With this practice, doing shifts from being an automatic reaction to becoming a mindful expression of presence. In this integration, we discover a new way of living where action does not separate us from being, but rather strengthens it. Finding harmony between doing and being is not a one-time achievement. It's an ongoing practice that demands awareness and intention. Every moment is an opportunity to align these two aspects, and over time, this integration becomes more natural. As we practice this union, we experience profound benefits, less stress, more clarity, and a sense of wholeness that transcends life's ups and downs. Yet the path to balancing doing and being is not without challenges. When we start to awaken to this new awareness, the ego, which has long dominated our reality, resists. This resistance is often subtle but potent. The ego, used to thriving on control, goals, and anxieties, doesn't give up easily. It clings to familiar patterns, creating obstacles that keep us stuck in the doing mindset. These challenges appear in different forms. One of the first signs is constant distraction. As soon as we try to slow down, it seems like everything around us conspires to keep us occupied. Calls, notifications, and the endless demands of daily life suddenly intensify. It feels like a push back into the whirlwind of tasks and concerns. During these times, the ego insists that slowing down is a waste, that there's always something more pressing to address. Internally, the ego creates resistance too. It gains strength through our emotional reactions and repetitive thoughts. When we attempt to connect with being, Old memories or anxieties about the future can arise, pulling us back into habitual patterns. The ego flourishes in conflict and drama, as these situations give it a sense of importance. Facing these challenges reveals that the true struggle is not external but within. Overcoming this resistance requires awareness. Instead of battling the ego, we learn to observe it. When we watch the mind's movements without judgment or attachment, we create space where the ego loses its power. This process involves detaching from thoughts, recognizing that we are not defined by them, but are the conscious presence observing them. It isn't always easy, especially with ingrained patterns, but each moment of awareness is a step toward liberation. It's essential to remember that facing these challenges doesn't mean failure. It's a natural part of growth. Just as physical muscles strengthen through resistance, the challenges posed by the ego are opportunities to deepen our inner presence. Patience and self-compassion are key. We won't always maintain presence, and distractions will happen, but each time we notice our mind wandering, we have a chance to begin again. Finding the balance between doing and being is like a dance, a dynamic balance that evolves as we deepen our understanding of ourselves. As we reconnect with the presence beyond the mind, we realize that being isn't a distant ideal but the essence of who we are. It's always there, waiting amidst the noise, inviting us to embrace life with greater depth and authenticity. Imagine a life where you act without losing your inner peace, where each action is a conscious choice, not a mere reaction. A life where doing is an expression of being, and being gives meaning to each action. This balance between doing and being isn't an abstract concept, but a reality you can experience now. In this harmonious coexistence, we find the key to living fully, with a deep sense of presence and purpose.